In JavaScript, when a function is passed to another function and the argument to be executed later is called callback function. So let's see the callback function in the code. Let's create an array of numbers, and it will take 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. To filter the numbers and see the odd numbers here, we say numbers dot filter, and here we see that the filter function will take a callback function. We can create the callback function in the filter argument or outside. So let's create that outside first. We say function is odd. It will take number and then return. Okay, it will take the number and then it will return number remainder of 2. So now let's pause that function in the filter. We say is odd. To see the result, we say console.log. Okay, so here we have 1, 3, and 5. Those are the numbers that are odd in this array. As I said that we can have the function in the parameter or the argument of the filter, we can do that as well. So let's cut the function and then put it in the argument of the filter. Let's run the test again. It will give us the same result. To make this even shorter, we can make this or convert this to E6. So remove the function is odd, remove the curly braces, and then we use the arrow. The arrow, we don't need the return, and then here we have all in one line. Okay, so let's run the function again. It will give us the same result. This is much shorter. So the function that we have here in the filter is called callback function. This is also called the synchronous callback function because the JavaScript will execute our function line by line from the top to bottom, and there's no wait time. And what if we have let's say we have a picture from internet to download and then we process that. At that time the JavaScript will need to wait for that picture to be downloaded and then we can process it. That takes some time. So the JavaScript engine will wait for that download to be completed and then we can execute it. So what the JavaScript engine will do, it will put that function and the web APIs and then continue with the executing the rest of the code. It will come back to that function that was taking some time and then execute it. So let's see that in example. For example, we have a function called download, and it will take URL and console.log. It will console.log. For example, console.log. Okay, so let's see what the problem is here. Okay, I need to remove the curly braces. Downloading the URL. Okay. We also have another function called process, and it will console.log processing. Let's call these two functions. We say download and then we put the URL and then call the process function. Before we call that, let's create the URL. Const URL equal to, for example, www.google.com. There's a picture called picture1. Now let's run this code. Here we see that downloading the picture and then it is processing. What if that picture is taking time? Because normally when we download something from the internet, it takes time, maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds. We don't know that how long it will take. So let's simulate that and see what happens. For example, let's use the set timeout, and the set timeout, we put the console.log. Let's say 3 seconds. So the function download will take 3 seconds to download that picture, and then we can process that. So let's call the functions and run the code. Okay, so here we see the processing is executed first and then the downloading is executed. This is not what we want, because we need to have the picture downloaded from the internet so that we can process it. So this is not the way we want. In order to solve this problem, we need to say that once the picture is downloaded, we can process that. We need to use the callback function. Here I say callback. I tell the JavaScript engine that once you download the picture, then call the process function. We say callback. So once the picture is downloaded, we call the callback function. Now here in the callback function, we put the process function. We say process. Okay, now let's run the code again. It takes 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So after the 3 seconds, it downloaded first the picture and then the processing started. But before, when we didn't use the callback function, the processing was executed first and then the picture was downloaded, which was not the right order. So the callback function solved this problem here. Sometimes we also have some cases that the picture is not downloaded, or there's an error due to the network or some other problems. So we can handle those errors as well. To handle those errors, it is either because sometimes the picture is downloaded successfully or it will give us error. So let's create those functions for handling the errors. So let's change the callback function to success. In case the download of the picture is successfully completed, we put the success function, otherwise it will execute the failure function. Now we don't need the callback here. We say success. Before that, in order to simulate the error, we can say let error, for example, equal to URL dot length equal to 0. If the URL is equal to 0, it means there's nothing in the URL, or there's no URL, then it return the error. If the error message is true, then it should call the failure function. Otherwise, call the success function. So here what it will do, the function download will go and download the picture. If it was successful, it will call the success function. If it was failure, then it will call the failure. So now let's put that in the download function. We say let's put the function process in the argument of download as well. So here we have the function process. As we change the name to success, it is still callback function, so the name doesn't matter. We can put it down callback or success failure, it doesn't matter. As long as we put it in the parameter and also in the argument, it will act as a callback function. So here in the callback function, we have the function success. So in case the download was successfully completed, we say downloading. Okay, so we say download completed, and then if there was a problem with downloading the picture, we put another callback function, which is failure function failure. and the failure will console.log download error. Okay, so now let's run the test. It is successful because we have the URL, and after the 3-second, once the picture is downloaded, here we can say that if the picture is completed successfully, we say the download completed, and then we can say processing console.log processing, and then we can also say process completed. Okay, let's run the function again. It took like 3 seconds to download the picture. The download completed, the processing started, and then the process completed. So this is what we wanted. Let's say we have an error in the downloading the photo or the picture. Here in the URL, I put an empty, and then the empty. So here in the URL, we have nothing. Let's run the function again. It says downloading, and then it says download error, because here we said that error equal to if the URL length is equal to 0 or there's no URL, it will call the failure. So in the failure, it gives us the download error. Okay, what if we have more than 1 or 2 pictures to download? Let's say we have picture 1, URL 1, URL 1, URL 2, or picture 1, and picture 2, picture 3. So what if we have 3 pictures to download and then process? So we can call the callback function after the successful, when the picture download was successful, we say that call the callback function again to go with the second picture. And once that is also completed, so here I say call the URL 2, and here URL 1. Okay, so once the URL 2 is also completed, here we say call the URL 3 to download. Okay, now let's run the function again. Identifier URL 2 has already been declared. Okay, we can remove that. Here we have URL 1, URL 1. Here we have URL 2 and URL 3. Let's run the function again. It says identify URL 2 at which end. Okay, so here at 3. Okay, this was repeated. Now let's run the function again. Okay, it took 3 seconds to download the first picture, and then the download completed, the processing completed. It's now downloading the second picture. The second picture is downloaded, processed. It downloaded the third picture. The third picture is also completed, and the process completed. This works fine, but the problem is that this is nested callback function, and the nested callback function, as much as we have callback function, so here we have only 3 callback function. What if we have 10 or 20 callback function? Then on that time, it is going to make a problem to debug. So if there is a problem like here, before that I saw like there was URL 1 or URL 2 that they had the same name or some other issues, then it will be very hard to find the code and then debug that. Then this is called the callback hail. So in the callback hail or pyramid of DOM, which is also called, this is what happened. We have the callback function, and inside that callback function we have another callback function, and finally inside that we have another callback function. This is making a lot of problem if we have a very big application. In order to solve that, we need to use the async await or promise. So in the next video, I would like to talk about the async and await. Thank you very much for watching.